What up, John?
Hey there, Burgess. All right,
Another week.
another week. This is so exciting. I love it. And it's Tuesday, so we're just getting started. And we have an awesome show for today. I'm excited about it.
I know. I'm super excited. We have another guest. We just started this show. We have another really cool guest to bring up.
All right, so I guess we should take a second and talk about these ads we have here. So we are WenMint partners. So definitely watch the WenMint podcast on YouTube. Also on Twitter. It streams on Twitter. WenMint podcast. Awesome show. I'm a part of the JPEG Empire team. I have a QR code for MEXC, which is one of our favorite exchanges, as well as you can trade with leverage there. All right, go ahead.
And then I'll say my part. Every single morning during the week, I go listen to the Web3 breakfast put on by J-Chains every single day. It's a community-based project. They say it's by the community for a community. So it's just a bunch of guys. If you want to listen to a good talk show in the morning where you're just shooting the shit, and then sometimes we get serious and talk about crypto, everyone's invited. It's a great show. If you want to come check that out, check out J-Chains and Web3 Breakfast. And then I was going to talk about an NFT I'm really invested into. It's the Goons. It's on Solana. If you're into video games and 3D models and doing things, doing your own art with 3D models, check that out. It's a great project. And then one more, we have Be Nice. They have a mint coming up soon. I know their CEO. He's a really good guy. All he's about is giving to the community. They're giving away $25,000. It's going to be on Ethereum. They're going to have their own token. You might get to go to Daytona 500. Pretty sweet stuff packaged in with that mint. So you should go check that out. BeNice.io. All right, that's about it. That's our promotional BS at the beginning.
Yeah, there you go. Follow us on Twitter, right? I'm Mr. Epicness9521, and follow Burgess, who is Burgess_33. And then we're going to bring up our guest. So our guest is from the Platypus. We have Eddie here. So there we go. We got Eddie. How are we doing, Eddie?
What up, Eddie? How you doing?
How's it going, guys?
Good,
man.
Thank you for having me.
Problem, dude. Thanks for coming on our show and talking with us about your project and about yourself. Kind of doing a new thing. We're trying to do a nighttime talk show. So
I like that.
Trying to get to know the founders behind their projects. And
a
little bit more personal
nighttime talk show.
Say what?
A live nighttime talk show, not pre-recorded.
No, it can't be pre-recorded. That's no fun.
All right. So the first thing is, Eddie, tell us a little bit about yourself. What is your background, and how'd you get into the crypto space?
So crypto has been a love interest of mine since I would say 2014, 2017, something like that. Some friends got me into Coinbase early on when the first apps were coming out. I got into Litecoin. I got into Ethereum. I bought some. I made some big mistakes. I thought I won the lottery. I had 1,100 Ethereum, and when I hit 110, 120, something like that, I was like, oh man, I won it big. I took my money and I took a trip to Puerto Rico, and and I brought my wife with me, and we had a great time. Little did I know that later, 5 years later, I would be looking back on that going, wow, that was the most expensive trip that I think I would have ever taken in my whole life. And it wasn't that great in comparison.
3,700 as we're speaking right now.
I know. Don't.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy looking back that far and just seeing just the numbers, just the difference, and just being like, dang, if I just had held on for a a little bit longer. Just insane difference, you
But
know.
it's good. It's an expensive lesson, right?
Yeah, it's
It's never
super
really like a
expensive.
failure because
Mhm.
yeah, did it cost me a couple $1 million? Yeah, but that's a really expensive lesson of if you have a coin that you're dead set, like it's your conviction, forget you own it. Buy a bunch, forget that it exists. Keep all your sweet seed phrases and somewhere safe, and come back, later when you see it on the news.
I love that. He's just failing. You just failing forward to success. Just fail forward to
Yeah.
success. Just do it better the next time. That's all you can do. Love it.
It's amazing. So I had a really good question for you. So if you're going back, I guess, to when we had CDs, right? What was
Yeah.
one of like the first albums that like comes to your mind, or one of the albums that comes to mind of a musical artist that you like remember getting that you were excited about?
Oh, the first one I ever got, which was the one that I purchased, my first one, was Eiffel 65.
65.
Nice.
And
Sick.
before that, it was a gift. It was the double gold tracks of all the greatest hits of Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah,
That I had that. That was my first CDs, period. My grandmother gave that to me.
Love that.
that's awesome. That's super awesome. You got any for him, Bridges?
All right. I think my question for you was, when you take a break from building and from working, because obviously this is something you love to do, so it sounds like you probably do it all the time.
Yeah.
But when you're not doing that, what are you doing? You know, what's the favorite thing?
I'm watching a shit ton of anime.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just got my whole list set up. I just got caught up on the Shangri-La on Crunchyroll. And my wife and I, we every Thursday at this point, the I don't know what's it called. I can't remember. It's just like the food dungeon or something.
oh,
They
dude,
go
I
in,
love that one.
yeah,
I
they go in the
love
dungeon and they just start eating
wishes
monsters.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know anything of what you're talking about, but this sounds
every
super
Thursday.
intriguing and weird, and
You
I
gotta
love
watch
it.
it. It's on Netflix. It's so good. This guy's just obsessed with like eating like crazy monsters, and it's like a dungeon crawler type deal. And so, like, the deeper you go, the theory is the tastier the monsters.
Yeah.
And, yeah, but it's fucking awesome. That's awesome.
That's sweet.
So, what's your favorite anime outside of that one then?
Like all time or just in general
Yeah,
right now?
Yeah, all time. I like that.
All time, if you have to go with classics, I have to go with Yu Yu Hakusho, just
oh,
because
that
the way that the story was written, and it's
did you
also
watch?
from one of my favorite mangakus, which is I can't remember his name, which makes me a terrible person, but he also drew and wrote Hunter x Hunter, so it's between those two, but it's because it's the same guy with the same concept and story design. He's really detailed with the story design. That's why I really like it. You get really in the world with his creations.
I
That's
really
awesome.
liked Yu Yu Hakusho. Did you watch the live action that was on Netflix? It just
I
cracks me up.
did.
Live actions
I
come. I
I
love them.
loved it for the quality.
Yeah.
I hated it because I watched it and went, "Oh, they just used the plot of every single season and they've left absolutely no room to do a season 2."
Yeah.
And I saw people online like, "Oh, yeah, I can't wait for season 2." It's like, "You're not getting a season 2."
They
You're
just
like, it's out.
mashed
They
everything.
used all the story and they're like, "No, they didn't. They still have the was it the black tapes?" I was like, "No, they don't. That was supposed to be in between their fake tournament, which I thought the tournament would have been amazing to have a season live action. That would have been amazing. No, it's just we'd split up and we all fight one guy by ourselves. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
They sped it up way too fast, but it was shot, produced, and directed by a Japanese team out of the Japanese Netflix studio, which is tradition for Japanese studios. They take the anime if it's not like Brotherhood or Full Metal Alchemist, like they're gonna try to do it all into one movie.
For sure.
With something like One Piece, you kind of have to. It takes
One
22
Piece
days.
is cool because that was American studios that did that.
Oh, that's wild.
So it's a completely different take on how to do it. And I loved how One Piece came out. They messed up some of the storyline and they brought people in a little too early, but I think it worked out because then you didn't have to have so many characters and so many different ship designs, and they did save by like doing that bridge. I don't want to spoil it for anybody watching, but there's a certain character who's not supposed to actually be known to be Luffy's grandfather, but like,
They did that at the beginning, yeah.
yeah, but it's all good. It worked out.
You guys are hating me. I haven't watched either of those.
Did you at
Just-
least watch the new one, the Avatar?
Not yet. I just have been so busy with life. I don't know.
Hey, man,
I plan
one day a
on
week.
I plan on
One day a
watching
week.
it because I watched all the avatars when I was a kid.
Hmm.
So I'm really excited, and I heard people were saying that like they did an amazing job.
20 million an episode.
Like actually, like they
That's
did an
crazy.
amazing job, and that's like so exciting to me because I remember watching like the movie they did, and they were I liked it because I'm a really big fan, but at
Yeah.
the same time it was like meh,
It's
you
garbage.
know, just so yeah, exactly. That's like that's like the main opinion, but like I'm so excited that people like are excited about it that I'm like, wow, I really need to take the time and watch this. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job. There's some stuff that you might not like, but I think because of the length of the stories and the timing, I think they did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly character development is going to be
See, that's super important.
It-
Character development is like
they're
characters are
not
important.
they're not designed to grow.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really annoying. I think the only character who's going to be the one who like grows over time is Katara in the way that the Netflix series did it, but it's okay. They got a lot of people watching it. It's well done. The CGI is top notch. They want it to be and feel like a Game of Thrones, but for like Netflix. And I think they did a really good job.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely check it out. What's John saying? John saying, "Are you a Rick and Morty guy?"
Hell yes.
Hell
I
yeah.
literally bought the seasons just the other week and
Yes, that's
just
awesome.
beast through them.
Yeah, that's one of my top animated shows for in my adult life. You know, just so great.
I
get
love
sick.
the stories that have stories underneath. And Rick and Morty is just the one with that secret storyline that we finally got to actually see. And I'm like, oh, it came all together. It all makes sense now.
Absolutely. Now the Morty's Mind Blowers episodes are always my favorite. You get to see all the like different arcs of every different character, just like
Yeah.
But amazing. All right, so let me see. I wanted to know what brought you to Cardano from all of the other chains.
That's a great
'cause, you know,
question.
every
That's a
single
great
one
question.
says, something else. And some people, I'm not going to mention any names, are big fans of like, Algorand and H-Bar and just shooting pot shots.
I do love Cardano though. Yeah,
I know.
you can't hate on me. Totally.
No, I'm not hating on you. But
I own a bunch of junkies. What are you talking about?
So yeah, what brought you to Cardano?
Whiteboard videos. Everybody else, you watch him, you realize like, okay, this guy's like really thinking it through. He's built it to a certain degree. Then you arrive and you're like, wow, we're really fucking early on it. I think some of the things that if I did a little bit more research, I probably would have been like, yeah, I'll come back later for it. Like almost 10-year hiatus before smart contracts and stuff like that. Or really like, getting a lot of the things of decentralization completed. But I do like the approach and how design is implemented. They take their time, they research it, they actually build it so that when they do release it, it works to a certain degree and then they can improve upon it. I differ on approach. I like to build things. I come from a software background, so I've worked at companies like Bose, Wayfair. I just recently left Datadog, a big monitoring company, but there I was a sales engineer, so a little different. But my whole career has been building systems, working in the cloud, doing automation or containerization of solutions. So I like the conversation of where he is very strategic in the way he builds software and how he organizes it. That's a big thing for me because if you're going to build software, you can do agile, But if you can't fix it fast enough, and this solution is technically the you're just turning money into like the fastest possible solution, um, you got to be very careful how you approach it, right? Visa doesn't do an update and then lets their credit cards not work for a weekend, right? So everything has to be done in a very meticulous way. Um, so when I got into Cardano, it was right around that time with the whiteboard videos, probably like a month after they came out. And as I'm looking into it, I was buying some ETH on the side because I saw it at $800, and I'm like, nah, this is going to go up. This is going to be great. Definitely called it. Made some money off that. But as I'm looking after a lot of gas fees that I had to pay that were very ridiculous to do things that make no sense. Yeah, let me just pay $80 in gas fees, $100 in gas fees, and I'm really only spending $50. It just doesn't equate to. You shouldn't have the chain itself or the solution be more expensive to use than what the thing is trying to be sold or transacted about.
It's so outrageous.
and,
It's so
and
outrageous. I don't see them use it. I don't see people really like. I feel like Ethereum's just going to drop off until they upgrade it. You know what I mean?
it's not. It's owned by the institutions, dude.
I guess that makes sense too.
You know ETHgate, the whole.
Yeah, I
I
do.
literally downloaded the entire recording that was.
And it seems like nothing has happened, right?
It's on my phone. No, because the institutions as well as the government agencies, they're all bought out. They're all in the pockets. So
yeah,
any FBI agent here, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the ETHgate's not going to happen. They're going to try to push an ETF. Once the ETF is out, that's when they're really just going to play around with ETH and take as much money out of the ecosystem as they can as an institution, because how ETFs work is the people don't actually get the coin. The institution has the right to buy the coin and then sell you paper. So they're just going to milk it as much as they can, and then they're going to work on the next ETF. Like that's just the game that they're going to play. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're going to get their ETFs. They're going to have their day. I don't think ETHgate's ever going to happen. I don't think if it hasn't happened already, it's not going to happen at all.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. It's like they've had, like, the information's out there. They're either going to do something with it or they're not, and they haven't done anything. So it's like, it's done. So it's done.
They just like, just what was that guy, Sam Bankman-Fried? He only got caught because he did something stupid and lost billions of dollars.
Exactly.
If he didn't lose those billions of dollars, or if the founder of Binance didn't pull all his FT tokens, nothing. We would be here, status quo, still with everything as is.
Yeah, and then people will be making a bunch of money behind the scenes, and then everyone will be happy, and let's go up. You know.
Yeah, all that Fugazi money,
Yeah, but they got even more money. They had, some people got paid. Everyone has to get paid. So,
but yeah, no, that's how I got into Cardano, and then the reason I chose to build on Cardano is I don't look at blockchains as like, hey, is this solution going to be more popular or whatever? It's an end of the day, everything is just like a decentralized version of Stripe. That's all it is, and then they all have their own version of currency that you use to pass value from person to person. It's never, who's more popular. It should be what solution works so that I don't lose the opportunity to make money. So when I'm building, Whimsy, I'm building it on Cardano for the fact that I don't want it to shut down randomly. And I don't want people to have to sit there and wait to spend money on the solution or what I'm offering, which is security, tokenized properties. I don't want people to sit there to wait till gas fees go down because they only want to spend $100. Right? It's just a logical choice to go to something that's going to be up. I think what are we, 3,600 days uptime? We're fine. In building in that way, think of it more like a solution that is a vendor product instead of I'm part of this community, or I'm part of this solution. It'll help out. It'll make you successful long term because you have a product that you can rely on and you don't have to think about it. And ultimately, we're going to accept tokens from any freaking blockchain. We're just going to be built on Cardano because it's sustainable.
Yeah. So since you brought up Whimsy, let's go a little bit more into that. So what is that? And I don't think it's up and running yet, correct?
Well, the placeholder website is the landing page just to learn, to see what we do, how, just the basic like pitch on the main page. But being able to buy and sell real estate, not yet. I actually just got off a call with my lawyers today, arguing on the approach of how do we collect crypto for payments.
Yeah.
It was just such an argument. They're like, oh no, it's you can't do that, because then you're going to have the money at the end of the day and you're supposed to put it in escrow. And I'm like, well, it can just give it to the escrow. They're like, yeah, but you can't touch it. And I was like, great, so I'll just use a third party solution. And they're like, yes, actually, yes, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's it? Why didn't you just tell me that? And they were like, well, we just didn't know how you wanted to do it. I was like, I want to just do it. I want you to give me your crypto. I don't care how it works. And then I give you real estate. Like, that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
I found out as well, it doesn't matter what dividends are paid in. You guys want crypto? You get crypto. If you want USD, you get USD.
So do you have a plan so far for what you're
I'm not going to announce what
dividends
solution I'm using, but there is a third-party solution, another gateway.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can say is that we're going to use North Capital. It's an escrow service. It's a licensed entity in the United States that takes escrow. So if you go to other websites like arrive.com, or you're going to Honeybricks, or you're going to some other insert another real estate fractionalizer in the US, they're using most likely North Capital. One, great service, the great team. And two, their prices are very reasonable comparatively to like all the other solutions out there. But what they do is they just take the money and they hold it. So instead of like what we do here today, it's like, hey, maybe I'll mint some tokens or some NFTs, and trust me, bro, I'm gonna do something with it, right? We have an escrow service, and there's a whole legal process on. We can't touch the money until what we've initially said of like whatever amount we're supposed to be funded to complete the task is funded, and then we'll release the funds. So we can't just take half of it and run away with it, right? Everything will be handled by a third party. They're going to hold on to the funds until we reach the goal and we start doing the thing we're supposed to be doing.
Sweet.
That's super awesome. All right. So I just checked right now and I looked at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are currently 3 paddle gangs available, right? Yeah. The first one, the cheapest one, is 4,499 ADA.
Where at, John? Where are they at?
JPEG store.
Okay.
And it's just paddle gang. And so the second one is 5,000 ADA, and then the third one is 32K ADA. All right. So my question is,
it's a lucrative group.
Yeah, what is paddle gang, and how does that work? And why would somebody want to be in that group, and how did they get there? Just tell me that.
Yeah, so Paddle Gang was initially early adopters, so it was like our Genesis pass. So anybody who joined the Discord, I'm a very big giver, so like I didn't think about charging anybody for any of it. I've mostly just airdropped the entire thing. So a lot of the community that still holds on to it are a lot of the OGs, people who have been in the space for a while. Because I joined and started Discord probably definitely a month or a month and a half after Claymate sold out. And I've been in the space since after Spacebud sold out. I didn't get in on it because I was just figuring out what an NFT was at the time. But I just got in after around that. Sorry, that makes the timeline look weird. I was doing Ethereum and Cardano at the same time. Cardano's NFTs make no sense if you transition from one to the other. But yeah, these Paddle Gang cards are your way into this group of individuals in the Discord that are privy to pretty much anything that I talk about publicly. They pretty much know about a month or a month and a half ahead of time. I don't like to do anything that requires like spending money or anything like that, prior knowledge to that. But what I do is like little updates of like what we're already building, being able to test out software before it goes live, things like that. Recently, I shared some information of some of the tweets that I've been putting out earlier today from Platypus Cyberpunks' Twitter or X account. I was talking about, there's some legendary things I want to do and all that stuff. And they know what I'm talking about. So they're actually very excited about what we're going to build. But it's pretty much the last missing piece of like how we're going to bring value to holders, and I think that's a very powerful thing.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
Eventually, we will be. I got to make it more official. I can't just like say, "Oh, this is what we are," because you got to register that stuff. But for Paddle Gang, we will be considered an investment club at some point, officially. Not anybody who knows me or anybody who's been in the Discord knows I do everything. I cover my ass way before I announce anything. So there's going to be some legal stuff we're working on just to organize how a DAO would be structured, how a team, a group, obviously, in the US, is under 99 people. Anything under 99 people is considered an investment club. It's just friends buying a bunch of stuff, spending a bunch of money together. That's ultimately the goal. And, use our skill sets in our lives and our access to individual people, not only my network, but theirs, and being able to, say, buy some property on the side or, invest in certain things together, and use our skill sets to get that done. But that's what Paddle Gang's really, the ultimate end goal would be.
Yeah. There's a whole reason on why they're like expensive to buy and get in with, because you're going to be getting paid to have it. You're going to, it's going to be worth it.
Well, people are getting paid now, technically. Venom, it does boost your staking on our staking platform, so it does help out right now. But it'll probably help out a little bit more in the future as well.
We can definitely go and talk a little bit more about that. Platypus Cyberpunks. So that's your main NFT, and they do have quite a bit of utility actually that come with them, and then there's actually like a lot of future utility that you plan to have with them. So maybe you can talk a little bit more about that, and maybe where you can go to take advantage of that.
Of course, man. So platypuscyberpunks.com, the website has everything on it. Everything else that we will ever build will be most likely from that website. If not, probably like another business or something. But you take your NFTs. All you have to do is you have to stake your wallet. You don't have to make it your main wallet. You can do any other wallet. You can stake it to our our stake pool called Mayo. Lots to unpack there at some point. But the idea is you stake your wallet to Mayo, and then because you're staked and that wallet has NFTs in it, you're now able to access the dashboard where you would be able to stake your platypuses individually or all together. And as long as you're staking them and you have the right amount of ADA in that wallet, you'll be able to qualify for Venom rewards, which right now we're in our NISO period, which is NFT initial stake offering. Every platypus is accumulating the Venom directly. So you're not getting it in your wallet. You actually have to wait. And what we're going to actually do is March 24th is actually when this NISO is over. So the claim window is coming up very quickly. And it is a very exciting moment because everyone sees this massive amount of Venom that's just sitting in their accounts, and they're just itching to hit that button. I think I open a ticket. Not I open a ticket. I read a ticket that's opened probably once a week of, hey, I'm hitting claim. I can't withdraw my Venom. And I'm like, you can't. You're right. You can't. You have to wait. Just like everybody else.
That's hilarious. That's like the one thing founders mostly get annoyed with is people just not knowing what's going on and just sitting in tickets.
Man. I love getting repetitive questions. I love getting people coming in because people are interested. People are talking.
That's good.
When it gets silent and no one cares. That's worrisome.
That's a great point. You make a great point with that. Yeah, at least there's like the motor's going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody's there.
Yep. John, you were saying these were CIP68?
No, that was my question. I was going to ask if they are.
Okay.
And what was the reason that you chose that over? I think it's 25. That is the most.
Yeah, SIP 25 is the other one. So Paddle Gang was SIP 25 initially, and the tokens for Venom were actually a whole different policy. There's a thing that happened. We had some dev that was helping us out was compromised. I don't know him enough to say if it was him or not. But what ended up happening is I was noticing, and some other members in the community got my attention of, hey, why does my Paddle Gang have a fingerprint? And why does it have why does it come up in my token section instead of my NFT section? The dude left the policy open when I told him to close it.
Gotcha.
Same thing for the tokens themselves. So we had a compromise of the policy, and they're just minting, just slowly draining the liquidity pool or trying to sell
Oh,
the
no.
NFTs on the secondary. I come from software. I've been part of brute force attacks and compromise authentication and nonsense like that. So I knew how to shut it down. You know, I didn't wait. I went to JPEG store. I had some friends there. Shout out to the homies at JPEG, but they shut it all down. They took down all the paddle gangs. I went to MinSwap and I said, "Yo, how do we get rid of this?" And they're like, "You can't." And I was like, "Great, centralization, so I can just take care of it myself." And they're like, "Yep." I was like, "So I have to rug the entire pool?" And they're like, "Yeah," and then migrate. And I'm like, "Cool, cool, cool, cool. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. Okay." And then went to Tap Tools, went to all these guys. They helped me essentially hide the Venom token from the platform. It's still out there; it can still collect it, but they hid it for the time being, where it wasn't searchable. It's still there because it's a decentralized code, so it just picks everything up. So I just went meticulously through every single market, every single deck, so everything that I'd be working on, and we just pumped the brakes, stopped it. I got with Anvil. We planned a exchange program. I minted a whole nother token with a whole nother platform. Did the same supply, but this time I added decimals. I changed the images and had them all ready to go. And then what I just did is with proper communication, with proper explanation and sharing all that information, I rugged the entire liquidity pool and then created a second one with the new token. Um, it was probably the most defining moment of the project where it looked like I absolutely rugged. People were freaking out for a second, but I updated everybody after I did it because I didn't want to do it beforehand because this anonymous idiot had access to minting as many as he wanted. So if I announced it and he was in there, he was going to drain it. So I made sure to drain it. I got everything out of his possession in a way because he wasn't able to interact, he wasn't able to sell, he wasn't able to trade. And then we now had closed policies on everything. And I also worked with Avatar Nick on Saturn. Shout out to Saturn. They're the real ones. And we got everything with a wormhole set up so that people can transition the NFT itself that they had over. Only issue is now that most of them are considered tokens, not NFTs. So I had to take a snapshot and painstakingly, one by one wallet, send and airdrop all the Battle Gang cards out to the people who had them at that moment. It was also an exchange. You could DM me and I'd exchange you. And then the tokens themselves, we worked with Anvil to do a full swap. So it was like two separate airdrops, and people were able to get them. And this was just so we could correct any of the issues. So it was always a ADA price correction because after we switched the pools, to apologize and appease the people, I dumped like 100K ADA additional into it in different like lump sums so that it would drive the price up and people would get in. And it did really well. It peaked. It did amazing. Obviously, people dumped because it was just the rush of degenning. But we were able to migrate. We're on the new token. Everything's secure. Everything's under the project's ownership. We did fantastic. But that's the reason why we did sub 68.
That's amazing.
Honestly, yeah, like that was such a good story. Like that made me like you so much. I was like, dang, now that's a founder that actually cares about like what he's doing and puts in all the work to make sure to fix exactly what the problem is. That was amazing. That was amazing. I love
it's
it.
one of those moments where it's like, okay, so do I quit now or do we go through this like, fuck it, let's do it live. I
Hell
did
yeah.
that in 3 days without sleep.
Hell yeah.
From Friday to Monday. We were done by Monday.
That's badass. That's a reason to go buy a freaking Cyberpunk pod post right there.
Hell yeah.
Platypus Cyberpunk.
Come
Sorry.
It's all good.
None of it is financial advice. This is just
No.
our personal
No.
opinion. We're talking about what we're doing. I
Yeah,
am
we always have to
currently
say that.
selling some shit to buy some more platties.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I feel bad that I don't have one now.
Come through, bro.
Uh,
We welcome all. And the price dropped, so you know, ADA pumps, NFTs drop.
mhm.
So we're sitting at a really economical price right now.
Someone is in my DMs and they were freaking out. They were like, "Dude, what's happening to the floor price?" I was like, "Bro," it's like
First time.
obviously ADA is pumping, dude. Like our floor price dropped. I think it was like 6, 7 ADA. I was like, I mean, it's not that high for JPEG Empire right now. It's not that high. We got a lot of stuff in the works, but I was just like, yeah, relax, bud. It'll be okay. I was like, look at the apes. Apes were like 1,800, from like 3,500 just a
Yeah.
week or two before the levy shenanigans.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and they're not even rolling out that levy token. What do you think about that? All the pre-sale was refunded after they had a space with Charles and the whole nine.
I personally think the choice to walk away from Levy was a good one. I don't think. Here's the thing about Ape Society, right? And I love those guys. They're great people, right? Do they make mistakes? Yeah, people make mistakes all the time. I publicly said maybe Solana would be better as a solution, that the community would buy something at one point publicly. And I was like, well, I just learned real quick the community will fight back real fast. It's education. You make mistakes, you say things that you think like a joke's going to land and it doesn't. Or you make a choice and it's just like, wow, I really effed that one up. I think, there's a lot more they got to talk about. They got to explain a bit more with the stuff that they're going to do going forward. They got to slowly bring back some trust to some people who did leave their community at some point. And it's going to be a slow fix, right? Because they made a big hiccup to the demographic that they have on Cardano. Ultimately, I look at every blockchain as a different demographic, right? If you look at the people here, and you can go on different polls on X that people just ask the question like, "Hey, how old are you?" Or like, "What part of the country are you in?" You can get a good feel about who's in Cardano, and Cardano is pretty much like a 30+ community. A lot of people who are jaded that they didn't get the bull run. A lot of people who are here hoping that it is the next Bitcoin. There's a lot of people here who really love the fundamentals. They love to talk about governance. They love to talk about technology. And then you got the degen change, which is like Solana, who's really owning the degenning right now. And that's mostly like 20 somethings, people with a lot of like that FOMO and not that much experience. Just like, yo, give me an opportunity. I don't give a shit what it is. Like, you're gonna rug me, cool. Just give us 24 hours to game it up, and then we'll go to the next one. Like, people know most of them are rugs. People know that most of them are scams. They don't care as long as there's an opportunity to grow their bag. They'll take that opportunity to do so. And just Cardano's just not that kind of community. It's not that space. So that's when I see where other founders from other chains or other projects, they'll say, "Oh, Cardano's crap. You can't do nothing there." It's the nature of who's on it, who's using it. It's not a bunch of young kids with a bunch of money or people who got lucky who are just like, "Oh, I'm number one and I have all this money." That's why people don't care much about Cardano. It doesn't pump because there's no free VC money. There's nobody under a certain age that's just kind of like, I don't care money. They're just throwing it out there to hopefully catch a big win. And that culture never was built here. It was kind of like, during like the $2 to $3 phase. Yeah, during the bull, everybody's throwing money around like crazy, hoping to turn that bag a little bit more because it's enticing. And there's more people here because they're at that $2 to $3 mark. But now you have everyone who's left over is diehard Cardano people. And that demographic isn't the same as what you would find on another chain. So it's not. I say all of this to preface what I'm actually going to say is TOS tries to bring some of that energy over from these other blockchains to try to engage us, try to bring more eyes from things like ETH or Solana to have that kind of hype come over. And we saw that with Little Sappies where they attempted it. And they said, well, we didn't like the response, so we're just going to hold off and figure out what we're going to do. And that's, they're just trying to gauge and they're trying to make sure, hey, everybody, like, let's be like the other chains. Let's pump our bags. Let's invite people over and be more welcoming in a different way. And I just don't think the people here want to do that. I even have a poll right now where I'm just asking, what do you guys want? And it's 4 options. It's like, do you want degen opportunities? Do you want traditional business? I think one of them is, let me look at it. I'll be honest, like I'll say the actual things that are on it. Do you want DeFi gambles, or do you want to talks about governance? I'm so happy governance didn't freaking win that one, because I'd shoot myself at that point and be like, no one wants to talk about that. Like, there's such a small amount of people who actually want to talk about something so boring. It's useful, it's important, but it's boring. It's not a delicious sandwich of like.
It's for those special people that want to talk about it, you know.
Exactly, and what I would say is, to those people who want to talk about it, please talk about it to people who want to listen. That's Cardano's problem. Is we'll say shit and we'll talk about stuff nobody cares about. And I love the people in this community, but there's a lot of times where I'm sitting there going, why are we talking about this? This is irrelevant. Nobody wants to hear it. This space isn't even about that. It's off topic to begin with. It's like concerning, but you know, I love them to death because they're building some of the coolest stuff and some of the more important things. And hopefully we'll have a solution that has an entire governance model that works, but not everybody wants to hear about it. But right now, degen opportunities and traditional business are the 2 things that people want. Degen opportunity compared to a DeFi gamble. Degen opportunities like risk coin or bank, right? They did a degen coin. The coin didn't really have any utility. It was mostly for memeing. And then they're trying to bring some value over. So that's like an opportunity degen move, right? DeFi gamble is just like, I don't know if this guy's going to rug this coin or not. Like Levy with a hat. Somebody came out with that right after they pulled it out. I'm like, dude, that's genius.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's genius. I'm like, I wish I thought of that.
I love just reading names. I love just reading names of meme projects that pop up, and there's new ones and funny ones every single day. It's just a constant feed.
It's great. And it's like, some of them are really good. And it's just that kind of energy where it's, we don't have a lot of DeFi gambles because I'm gonna say this full transparency. I don't care the hate that I get. The effort that the Cardano projects put in is not equivalent to the effort that Ethereum and Solana projects put in. Not on the building, not on the project or the team. Literally, if you're going to compare something like on the base blockchain, one called Brett, you go to the website, you have like animations and you have high quality like cartoon characters kissing the screen.
I had that one.
It's literally it's like entertaining to be there.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just that's a high level of effort, and that takes a lot of capital, that takes a lot of investment and time and skill set, and we just don't have that here. Mm-hmm. And I think when I say that, that is very honest. Not necessarily that we can't have it here. I just don't think anybody's brought that level of effort into the space.
It's fine though, because like in my opinion, like I'm newer to Cardano, to be honest, and like that's one of the things I like the most about it is it's just like all official, like real stuff. Mm-hmm. There's no garbage. Like you don't have to like search through anything. Like everything you click and like look at, you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. Oh, let's go to the next thing. Like, oh, this is pretty cool too. Like, you know, and you kind of like just find something you like to use, you know, in your dApps. And that's the one thing that is good about Cardano is like, just keep it that way. Keep the garbage out. Like, honestly, just like keep it the way it is and like keep building the way, because it's going to be successful in my eyes. You know, it's just there's too many good things happening. There's AGIX, you know, on there. Like, for example, like that's going to be humongous, you know, just that. Yeah. So
I think what we need to have is more, like less garbage is great. Like I don't want to get robbed, right? Especially when you have like that FOMO diehard moment where you're like, yeah, this is the one, and I put 10,000 ADA in it, and then you're like, it wasn't, and now my money's gone, right? But if you look at projects like Butane, they had a phenomenal turnout, and I've been taking notes of like, what did they do? How did they talk to people? What were their Twitter posts? Because that's like textbook. That's like stuff you like want to understand, and they were clear. They were just like, here's what we're doing, here's what we're building, here's a test net, go play with it. Then after that, they started going to, getting people to talk about their project. They went to some of I wouldn't say they went to influencers. I think they just like tagged them in some stuff and they got interested. And they slowly started like, okay, here's the team. Here are the people on our board. Here's what we're doing. And I think that really was the way to go about it for the demographic here on Cardano. See it, touch it and feel it. It feels real. The team looks legit. Like they had one of the founders of the Aiken protocol on their team. It was like, that's an easy, okay, yeah, they're legit. And I think that's the way that people need to do it. I think that we need to have more of that, I guess, like technology startup approach to how we deliver things going forward.
I love that.
100%. If you were to be on another chain, what would be like, I guess, like second and third best?
Yeah, because you have to diversify, I already know you probably like one other chain.
Just like things that I own, or if I was to leave and go platypus to another
definitely
chain?
build. Yeah. Definitely build.
Yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna
build
build
on another chain.
Mm-hmm.
I hate EVM. I know there's a bunch of people here probably who are like, oh, well, EVM's so great, you'll make so much money. I was like, yeah, if people can afford it.
Yeah, bro. We're about the people here.
Honestly, EVM's great, but it's like the security the security issues of like not finding a good dev, and trying to have solidity contracts that are like unique to what you're trying to build or what you're trying to accomplish. The fact that I can't piggyback off of another staking system is really concerning. I have to like invent one every single time. Solana shuts off in the most opportune moments. Like there could be a day I'm like, oh, today we're gonna make a lot of money, and then Solana doesn't work for like 5 days. Yeah. You've lost a week's worth of money because you can't even use the blockchain. So like I would say it wouldn't be a top one. It would probably be one of the newer ones that I'm seeing. Like Say, I like that one. The community is great. They're very positive. A lot of people are like, we bought in early. They're sitting on millions of Say, and they're like, we hit $1 and I'm not selling. And I'm like, that is like educated FOMO. They're like, we did the research. I'm not leaving. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. That's some good stuff. And it wasn't even like trying to be boastful or, bringing a brigade of people to like buy in. It was really just, they're just like, we did it, guys. We all were here. We've been talking for months and weeks and years. We did it. We did our research. We finally got here. And it was like I was proud for them because of the energy and the way that they communicated in that Twitter space. It wasn't like, oh, to the moon, or it wasn't like all that. It was like a group of people, good 20 people in that space who were talking and saying, guys, we did it. Like we succeeded. We finally found the one that got to $1. And I'm like, fuck yeah, you guys deserve it. It wasn't me thinking, oh, fuck these guys, they won. Or they're just trying to convince me or some other crap. It was like very genuine. Plus, the stuff that they're working on Say is pretty cool. Like if you look at their network, if they really do test it, I haven't seen it actually max out, but if they max it out and they can do the transaction speed that they're talking about, it would literally be the fastest L1, to a point where it's like, why would you need an L2? Just write a smart contract for your unique use case and call it a day, right? That's I do like that about Say and the way that it's like built and how it can really scale very quickly. I would say that one. If I had to like build something on it, I'd probably build over there. I think there's a lot of opportunity to grow. XRP, just because of the banks, institutions, right? They're going to be using it.
Yeah, that's fair.
If not that one, XLM or Quant. I'd build some stuff on Quant, but Quant wouldn't be necessarily like.
Quant's like an Oracle, so they're going to be like gearing towards like
but I wouldn't build on it.
Yeah. They're going to be nice for building with,
Yeah. Like if you look at patents, like people can have all the answers they want in the world. If you just got to look at the right places, you have, I think you have both Citi or is it Fidelity? I can't remember. All these banks have the same freaking names. Bank of America definitely has a patent for their XRP integration.
Oh, yeah.
And that's for everything. from tokenomics, from tokenizing to transitioning value between their own banks and overseas. So if I wanted to do business, say with Whimsy to Bank of America, if you do watch this, hit me up. If you want to do business in that way, we could utilize XRP, transition or maybe bridge over tokens from a property, and then send them off to a bank.
Do you like the other coins that run on the XRPL, like Sologenic or Corium?
I don't know
or
any of them.
None of them.
I don't keep up with a lot of what people do on the chains.
Yeah.
I only really keep up with the baseline because I'm building on it. So if
Yeah.
I'm going to have something, I'm probably going to come out with my own token at some point
100%.
On that chain. Like we have Venom, and it's really just like the center point of all value.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys look at the white paper, there's a roadmap, and I got 10 different things on it. Those 10 different things are 10 different businesses or forms of cash flow, from staking with the Mayo stake pool, or from royalties from the NFTs, to some percentage of buybacks from these different institutional business ideas to buy back Venom, because we're going to keep it's essentially a loyalty token, right? So if you buy property shares on the platform, you're going to get a little bit of Venom. It's just a loyalty, like, hey, you got points, you just went and bought like a sandwich, here's like 2 points for going to the grocery store that day. Same concept, and then you'd be able to utilize the Venom for other things.
I know you wanted to cover a little bit about min swap farming for Venom too.
Oh yeah,
we haven't really talked about that much.
Oh, min swap farming. It's something else
Yeah.
we could do with Venom.
Yeah.
So that I think about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we launched the min swap farming with Venom. Right now it's still sitting pretty high, but I put in about 3 million Venom, I think, into that. So you got, say if it was a month ago, we probably got 5 months left of really beefing out that APY. So hit it up, add some liquidity, get yourself some farming.
Hell yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do with my crypto, is just farm away and get more crypto. It's the easiest way to make more money.
Yeah, it's such an interesting concept, because if you think about the traditional way, you have things like CDs, or you have things like bonds that you lock money up in, and like a treasury bond, right? Like the T-bills that recently came out, like you can put your money into that, you're making 5% back on it month over month, or whenever you close it off, because you can do like a 2-year, 4-year, 5-year, 2, 5, 10. If you lock it up, you're getting that percent back year over year. So some people will be like, sell property, they'll do something else, because the average, right, they can make the same amount of money and do less work. And if you think of it in the same kind of logic, the same kind of concept, you really are doing the same thing, but it's with without the added benefit, right? Because the money goes somewhere with the T-bill. Somebody's taking it, they're investing it, they're making money back, and then that's where the money's coming from. Farming is the same exact concept, except you're taking somebody else's money who's also inside the farm. But if you do it right and you time it nicely, or if you really just like the token that you're getting off of it, you could do a lot of great things with it.
Yeah, that's the main thing. So like with all the people, it's funny, like I try to bring on like as many people around me, like on a crypto. I'm sure like everyone else does that is in the crypto, just talks about it and be like, yo, you should put your money into this so you can make more money,
Yeah.
The one thing I'm trying to do primarily is also show DeFi. It's show the people that like they're not just buying something and it's just sitting there and they're like waiting forever. I don't want them to get bored of that. Like I want them to buy it and like have some type of utility and be like, yo, like my money's sitting here. It's like actually making more money on top of itself, and like it's way more exciting that you can buy art with it. You can go on Whimsy and you can actually buy fractional property, and you can actually like have part of a house, and you can look on your phone and be like, yo, how's my house doing? And like, how much money have I made? I'm really trying to push that with people. I love what you're doing and everything. It's perfect. It's what's going to make crypto just explode in the future. Is exactly what you're doing with these like fractional real estate. It's awesome.
It's the real world use cases, man.
So,
It's like
it's the real world use cases.
Yeah. I think what's interesting is that what differs me from other RWAs, because there's a whole bunch of them. There's no different, but they all went down there's regulations, right? So there's Reg A, there's Reg D, there's Reg CF. There's a bunch of different ones, but they're all exemptions. They're all forms of how to accept money and what your limitations are. So I'm Reg A, Tier 2. That's what we're filing for. That means that I can market to anybody. I can buy advertisements. Neither of you have to be accredited investors, and I'm going to sell these shares for as little as $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's very difficult to complete. Literally, I started a project to do the most difficult fucking thing you can probably imagine.
Good. We need people like you
But
in
once
the
it's
world.
once it's done, everything else is easy, like incredibly easy. But with Reg A Tier 2, I have a limitation, no more than 75 million a year. Hence why I can't accept crypto. So if you gave me a bunch of Bitcoin last year and I held on to it so we can finish funding something this year, I would have to return money or commit fraud because the value of Bitcoin went up so much that I'd probably be sitting on more than my limitation.
Yeah.
Marketing to anybody, being able, but you also have the other side of that where the individuals may not have any money. It'd be really hard to kind of get the attention of everybody. But you do have the benefit of being able to advertise. The other side is Reg D, where you have to be an accredited investor. You get a much higher limit. I think it's like 150 million a year, but you can't market. It has to be word of mouth. Like you can talk to friends about it, but you can't go through other people. And if somebody else does talk about it, they will find you. Fundraiser had to pay like a $4 million fee because they went through influencers on YouTube and they got caught. Because one of them put them down as like a paid advertisement when they were giving them a little extra to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go to, let's say there's like CF, which is crowdfund, pretty much anything under like Indiegogo falls under that. There's limitations to the length of how that crowdfund goes, how much that can be collected, and there has to be like a breakdown of like what exactly is being funded for. I know there's a lot of boring financial topics, but we're sitting in the Reg A, and that gives us a lot of flexibility, a lot of room to grow. And it's also like one of the hard ones because, we're not going to accredited investors. So we're not going to our potential investors on whimsy and saying, you might lose all your money, figure it out, right? It actually, all of that risk falls onto me and the company to go, hey, we're going to do our absolute best to make sure this happens, that we're going to accomplish this goal, this task, and we're going to keep it going. We can't guarantee any funds because this is an opportunity and it's a potential. But if we do succeed, we succeed together. That's pretty much what a Reg A is. Reg D and Reg CF is like, throw some money in. Let's see if it hits. Obviously, you can be very strategic. You can be very planned out. But being a accredited investor also has a very big upside, but also a very, very deep downside. If it just doesn't hit, and then they can keep selling because the money's gone, but it's like, oh, we can just get new investors. It's just it's the name of the beast,
Yeah.
Dang. So we're coming up on the hour. My I guess like one of my final questions are, of all of the projects that are in this space, right, in Cardano, what are a couple of projects that you think have really good founders and that you like emulate in some way, shape, or form, or that you like appreciate? What are some of the other projects you think that are in this space that have that pizzazz?
I must be very careful in the way that I go about this because I know everyone.
Well, yeah. Obviously,
come after me, and I'm gonna be like, bro, stop. They needed an answer.
You're evil, John. Why you got to do this to this man?
I quite literally know everybody.
A couple people, so that way
I can do a couple. I can do a bucket. So there. When I say this, it's going to be. I don't really emulate a lot of people because I've been my own leader. I've been a boss for a long time. So I try to hopefully bring a lot of who I am and how I go about things to the people around me and the people that I work with and that I hire. Hopefully, I've taught some of these people some things that is beneficial. But going after like difficult problems, I think I think Brian from Veggiemates, or I don't know his actual online name anymore because I talk to him normally.
Oh, John's on it. He's like,
Beast Dives. Beast Dives is his online name. So Beast Dives from Veggiemates. I looked to him for some guidance on some stuff. We're both sales engineers from different fields. He gave me a lot of advice early on. It was very beneficial to going around building a community. Definitely got to throw a shout out to Demos. Dude's always got my back. I always got his. So it's always it was funny because at first we didn't like each other. And then we started talking, and then we're like, wait, no, we're the same person. So that definitely a shout out to him. He definitely has a lot of got that New Yorker, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna make it kind of attitude. And
I love that.
That kind of drive, that kind of reflection, I definitely have taken that on. Because there's moments where you feel doubt in the decisions you make or in the things that you do. And his countless times where I'm like, bro, should I just pull the rug? Because 6 months to mint out. And he's like, nah, man, fuck it, keep going. And I was like, all right, we keep going. So we kept it in there. He was definitely one of those people who kept it in. Definitely Farmer Nash. He's a good dude. I definitely had good chats with him about different ideas, different things to go about it. We definitely both love real estate. I haven't had much conversations with some of the bigger names like Congo or Matasta or Cardano Man, but they generally seem like good people. I haven't had much discussions with them in person. I haven't actually met any of them in person. These other ones I have met in person, so that's where I'm really referencing on. I think, if you're speaking of TOS, they definitely did a lot of great work getting a lot of that attention and being able to generate that kind of community that's so diehard on the stuff that they build. That's what I hope to hopefully emulate on my projects, get a lot of people who have attention, back them, and get them to really love the stuff that we do. And, just to some quick shout outs to some newer founders, Angel Finance with Batachil and DeFi Mofo, they're great dudes, very smart. They're learning.
They have some really
trader, and the other one's learning, so they're doing great.
They have some really big stuff going on in there. I'd love to talk to those people.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
Then you got founder wise people who've really done stuff, definitely Hoarders Group, the way he's gone about not only running his own project but picking one up and absolutely killing it and bringing an actual product out of that project that was never planned to do so. I thought that was pretty genius in the way he went about it. And I know he's got some great plans coming too. We could be here all day. I could just go down a whole thank you brigade, but a lot of the people minting around the same time as me. There's a lot of great founders out there still building, still putting stuff out. I think anybody who is able to have the balls to stick it through right now, through the bear into this potential bull coming in, I think those are all the great ones that we're going to see in the future. I think we're going to have a lot of the future billionaires talking up here on stage one of these days.
Absolutely. No, that's fantastic. Love it. Love it. A lot of good information there. Really love your project. I mean, I think it definitely has the vibe, you know what I mean? Just in general, the Platypus Cyberpunks, just the aesthetic by itself has that kind of
100%.
Feeling about it. And, I'm glad to be a part of it. Burgess, you're probably going to be a part of it soon. I can see.
Yeah. I'm I'm going to figure out some way to get some Cardano.
Some of that, just to give you guys some sprinkle, because we are over the hour, but fuck it.
It's our show. I ain't on no schedule. What the hell?
I'm working meticulously on an entertainment portion with Platypus Cyberpunks. I'll leave that kind of alpha for you guys there. Absolute bangers are coming out soon. Additional art is coming out soon. We're not minting it. Don't worry. I promised I wouldn't mint more platypuses. We're not doing that. But there definitely will be a lot more fun things coming out that are very high quality. So I went and found some artists on ETH. So we're going to bring some of that higher quality entertainment visuals and that good feel that everybody wants to see from a high-end product. So that, be on the lookout. There's some cool stuff on the way.
That's super exciting.
Love to hear it. All right, so that's it. That's all we got. So we'll see
Yeah.
you later, Eddie. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
And
thank you
I'm
so
gonna see
much.
if we can get Farmer Nash on here sometime soon, because he's one that has come up a couple of times.
Blue
And then,
Stone.
yeah, be great. But all right,
Yeah.
you have a great one, Eddie. Thank you so much. Peace. All right, Burgess. So we're gonna
All
wrap
right,
our
bro.
up now. It was a great
yeah.
talk. It was a great talk. So give us a follow, me, Mr. Epicness 9521 on X, and then follow Burgess at Burgess _33 on X. You know, give us a like, give us a retweet. We
Yeah, I
appreciate
just wanna say thanks to everyone coming out and watching our show. We're only like a couple weeks old, and we're out here having a bunch of people like actually tune in, watch us for an hour, and listen to some hopefully really, really good information about good founders and good people working to make your life better, and make the world better. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. That's so cool. This is our best show yet, and hopefully every single show is gonna get better and better. So thank you. See you guys later.